Whenever I watch a really good movie, I keep talking about it to myself until I get bored of it, and then I watched Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. I cannot stop talking about this movie. That is the reason that I decided to make this YouTube channel, Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. This movie is so good. I cannot stop talking about it. I never in my life expected to become obsessed with Spider Man the month the Barbie movie came out, which was so bad, by the way. I've seen reviews of people saying that Into the Spider-Verse is better than Across the Spider-Verse. Let me be clear. My friend took me to see this movie. I did not see Into the Spider-Verse beforehand. I knew nothing about Miles' backstory. I'm not into Spider-Man or any superheroes movies, and I absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. I loved every minute of it before knowing what was even going on in the movie. It's only after a couple of days when I researched the movie and watched it again and watched the first one twice that I understood what I was watching and why I and so many others liked it so much. So let's talk about it. Miles Morales is Spider-Man, but so is everyone else in the Spider-Verse. So let's talk about the character of Miles Morales in contrast with the rest of the Spider People. Let's make some parallels. Parallel number 1. Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy. Our favorite Spider-Man and our favorite Spider-Woman obviously like each other very much. Their stories are pretty similar. They both have somebody who has died. They both struggle with coming out to their parents. By the way, do you think Gwen Stacy is trans? I mean, she obviously is because she's half a spider, but I think the little nods that she's transgender are really cool. Although some people call it queer baiting because she's not openly trans, but I don't think it's queer baiting because the whole point of Spider-Man's mask is that anyone can wear it. And so can trans people, so it doesn't really matter if the people who created her openly say she's trans, because she's just a character. So if you think that she's trans, then she is trans. Moving on, both Miles and Gwen are suffering because of their circumstances, but the big difference between them is that Gwen has kind of given up and decided to accept destiny and be okay with her dad dying, while Miles didn't. And the question is, why? Why has this badass Spider-Woman decided not to fight? Why did it take her so long to realize that she made a mistake? And I think the answer is she didn't have enough love and support from the people around her, especially her dad. She felt lonely, and loneliness makes you vulnerable and susceptible to bad influence. And when I say bad influence, I don't just mean villains. I mean like bad influence. Because the Spider Society is a fucking cult. It is a cult full of people who blindly believe their leader and follow orders. Except for one, of course, but we'll talk about him later. And when you are vulnerable because of something that happened to you, maybe a trauma, you are susceptible to bad influence. And when that bad influence is disguised as good, you are in big trouble. This is how cults recruit people. They don't recruit happy people who go on about their days. They recruit victims and hurt people. Gwen is hurt. She needs a home, a father figure, a mother figure, a friend. If you've ever been in this situation, I'm here to tell you it's okay, because I have to. I've almost joined some extreme groups with views that today I find appalling and I do not align with whatsoever. But back then, I was suffering and I needed some love and acceptance and community. Everyone is susceptible to bad influence. There are no people who are untouchable. Whole of Germany didn't become Nazis because they were intrinsically bad people. No, they were poor and suffering and hurt because of World War I. And they needed a glimmer of hope which was offered to them. And that's what happens when you lose yourself and your identity. You find it in places where it doesn't belong. Gwen Stacy was lost, and she became a shell, a ghost, if you will, of her former self. And Spider Society was accepting of her the way she was. That's all that was needed, just a little bit of warmth. So, why wasn't Miles susceptible to bad influence? Well, he was for a moment. He said he wanted to be in a band before knowing who other band members were and what they stand for. He was feeling lonely too, and he wanted in. But because of the love and understanding that his parents gave him, he could recognize the rotten bad influence. You know what? I think that if the roof conversation with his mom didn't happen, he would have gone under the bad influence. He would have taken that watch and accepted his destiny and his dad dying. But his mom told him to always remember that he is loved. And, well, apparently, he remembered it when it was crucial. That's why he said, fuck the band. That's why he said he's gonna do his own thing. That's why he... Oh my god, Gwen, that look, please, I will be heartbroken forever. That's the difference between them. They are the same in every way except for one. Miles had love when it was needed most, and Gwen didn't. That's why Miles said, fuck the system. Just like Parallel number 2, Miles Morales and Hobie Brown. Everyone's favorite anti-fascist Spider-Man and the best Spider-Man to ever be. But wait, is he Spider-Man or did he choose to wear the mask? Well, what if I told you that Hobart Hobie Brown was originally the Prowler? I know what you're thinking, not our Hobie Brown, that's the comic book Hobie Brown. This Hobie Brown is just way too cool to have ever been susceptible to fascism. I mean, he's Spider-Punk for heaven's sake. But think about it. Wouldn't it be just a way cooler backstory if he was the Prowler and he overcame his circumstances and chose to become Spider-Man? I personally think that just makes him an even cooler character because he's even more relatable because, as I said, it can happen to anyone. Anyone can become a victim of circumstances that drive you to do bad things. Hobie Brown became the Prowler in order to do crime because he had to survive, because he was rejected by society. And you know when he decided to turn his life around? When our favorite Spider-Man, Peter Parker, forgave him for trying to kill him. Spider-Man showed him love, and he was free of bad influence. Anyway, that's my personal headcanon that I choose to believe about Hobie Brown, but by God, let there be more of him in Beyond the Spider-Verse, because we absolutely need him. This backstory doesn't only make it possible for Gwen to have her redemption, but it also shows why Miles is susceptible to fascism, I mean bad influence. While we're on the subject of fascism, let's talk about Parallel número 3, Miles Morales and Miguel O'Hara, our favorite Latino daddy Spider-Man. I know y'all have been thirsting over this man ever since the movie came out. I see you with your dirty memes and your fan arts, you perverts, and I'm not judging. The man of the hour, Latino like Miles, blind confidence in his purpose like Miles, bitten by a spider. Wait, was he? He definitely doesn't walk like one, and even Miles noted that he has unspider-like claws. He doesn't have the spidey sense. By all probability, he may not even be a Spider-Man. Originally, in the comics, he wasn't bitten by a spider. He was injected with venom while working in Alchemax. Yet, he's wearing the mask, and he's the leader of a mask-wearing society. So what happened? Not only that, but he is brainwashing everyone, just like any cult leader will do to you, into believing his backstory about canon events, saying some things are destiny and cannot be changed, while Miles knows it's not true. But there wasn't a single moment where the movie implied that Miguel O'Hara was a villain. He's not the bad guy. He's apparently just under bad influence. His own. He founded the Spider-Verse because he destroyed his own universe. He had nowhere to go. He had no family, no home, not even a fucking universe. This guy was probably somewhere out there all alone, floating in the great big nothingness that he went crazy imagining in his mind and creating a world in his mind. He created the Spider-Verse in his own mind, and he created the canon theory, which he blindly follows because it is the only thing that made sense to him after being left completely alone in the world. No doubt in my mind that he completely and honestly believes this theory, just like the Nazis believed theirs. Miguel O'Hara is, just like the Nazis, imposing his beliefs on others, trying to control everyone under the pretext that it's what's best for them and for the multiverse. And just like the Nazis, he is deciding who should and who shouldn't live. Miguel O'Hara is actively choosing not to prevent deaths because he has a theory. If you put it like that, he is an absolute fascist. The only question that's left is, could his theories be true? I personally don't buy it. I don't believe in destiny. I think we are the product of the material conditions that produce situations that make us into the humans that we are. And if those conditions change, we change. Do you ever feel like an anomaly one day and completely normal the next? Yeah, that. Everybody can change. The question is Miguel O'Hara too deep down the rabbit hole in order to get out? Does our favorite fascist Spider-Man get a redemption arc in part 3? Or is it too late for him? I kind of expect the Walter White arc for him. I want to see him completely powerful one moment and completely lost and lonely the next, because others around him will realize that he was wrong, but then also they will forgive him. That's what I think will happen with Miguel O'Hara, and also possibly as part of his redemption arc, he will sacrifice his life in order to save everyone from the spot. But we'll see. Anyway, their circumstances are what made them so drastically different. complete lack of love on Miguel's side, and complete abundance of love on Miles' side. But what if Miles was the one lacking love? Parallel number 4, Miles Morales and Miles Morales. Everyone's favorite Prowler? Let me just say, this is one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen. Even though you could kind of guess that Miles Morales was under the Prowler's mask. I mean, I definitely did not guess because I didn't even know what I was watching because I knew absolutely nothing about Spider-Man. But looking back now, I think a lot of people probably did guess who's gonna be under that mask. The moment gave me chills, it was so good. They executed it perfectly. Not that the whole movie wasn't perfect, but this moment, man, it was so good. Anyway, we see Miles Morales as the Prowler, Miles Morales with the traumatic event of his father dying, Miles Morales who wasn't shown love and understanding by his friends and his family, and Miles Morales who, due to different circumstances, chose to wear a different mask. That mirror sequence was perfect because it showed Miles what he would have become had he made different choices. The Prowler Miles is his shadow self. It's him if he was Miguel O'Hara. It's him corrupted before his redemption. Now, we've only seen a little of Negative Filter Miles, but I'm sure he'll be the main focus of Beyond the Spider-Verse. But it really makes you wonder, will they give him a redemption arc? Or is he beyond salvageable? Is he even evil? And what was the spider that was supposed to bite him doing in Miles' universe? That's the biggest question. I can't wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm so excited. What do you think? Please write your theories and interpretations in the comments and subscribe because there will be more movie analysis to come. I just love talking about movies. Thank you for watching and have a good day.
Being Spider-Man is so easy.